Let's play this clip from Candace Owens.
The CIA.
Well, before we say Hollywood was created by the CIA, I guess I should clarify because, first off, you guys do know the Pentagon has a budget for film. Like there's a whole department in the
Pentagon. Know that.
That's a fact. There you go. That's all you need to know. There's an entire department in the Pentagon. They get involved with films, and they get involved with films for the purpose of propaganda. They always have.
Hit certain people, and this was before we called things promotion and marketing. You know what I mean? That's Hollywood is not really there to entertain you. Like, that's great that happens, but propaganda is something that is important to all civilizations.
What movies
I should have said Pentagon instead of CIA. Tons of them. I should show you the list. You should pull it up. It's wild. Right, yeah, Pentagon Department for Hollywood. Tons of them.
So I have to
even Transformers. Even Transformers, because they're concerned about certain narratives. They get involved with like World War films, like how are we telling a story about history? Usually it's because we're lying about what we did or trying not to make Americans aware of the crimes against humanity that we commit overseas,
Yeah, the Pentagon has funded some films. Black Hawk Down, Red Dawn, GoldenEye.
The more you know. So now you understand your experience in theaters is what your government wants you to think. They want you to think that this is how things happen, and it's usually not at all how things have actually happened.
6 of the best movies made with help from the Department of Defense. This is military.
Yeah.
So in this clip, she talked about how the United States military has a budget to put forth for Hollywood films, right? And uses propaganda to manipulate the minds of the people. And Charlemagne, they actually researched it on the spot, and they found Black Hawk Down, a few other movies that the Pentagon had put money into, and helps influence public sentiment. Now, this is interesting because I've always said that movies are not only a way to predict the future, but they're also a way to control the people. Not just movies, music, television shows, sports. This even goes back to the Colin Kaepernick thing, right? Because it was interesting. Well, we did an episode earlier on Earn Your Leisure where when the Colin Kaepernick thing had really taken off, where the national anthem was never part of sports until like 15 years ago, and when it was used as a recruitment tool, right?
Yep.
So now they make this a whole ceremony of flying planes over and doing a national anthem and having military people, but like in the 80s and the 70s and 90s, that wasn't part. Like that's not part. It's not like this has always been there, right? It's not that singing the national anthem was not part of football games. It was like you just go out and play the football game. Yeah. Because think about it. How weird would it be if you work at IBM, right? And before you start your day, every single person you have to stand. It's like being in school, Pledge of Allegiance, and then we play the national anthem, and then you stand. No, nobody does that, right? So it's one of these things where, and it might have been part of sports, but it wasn't televised. But it's like, why is this televised? Is this part of the whole thing? Well, it's part of a military recruitment campaign. This is documented. So it's interesting. This is a very interesting dynamic that she spoke about with the Pentagon having a budget, an annual budget to help film certain movie projects that they want to use as some form of propaganda to impact the minds of people that are watching it. What's your thoughts on that?
This goes into Mexico president pile for me. The one thing I will say, at one time, Tom Clancy was one of the greatest American authors in history. And then a few years later, it was, I think 8 years later, it was revealed the way he was able to write the books is that he had a contract with a certain agency that was told about weapons that will come in the future, potential wars that may be thwarted, and he was the Quentin Miller for a certain organization. I agree that sometimes nations may use propaganda. Going back to my marketing, advertising background, Ed Bernays, father of modern PR, etc. Bacon and eggs, smoking cigarettes, like certain things are in fashion because there's a concerted effort to make it that. But I like living. So when it comes to those agencies, you know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing. So shout to Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and all those games and movies and shit. But no, what? No. I don't know nothing. I just talk on YouTube. Hell no. We get Alex Jones on and he can talk about it. But we got to get him before they finish him for once and for all.
I think he's already done though, right?
I mean, done. Financially, yeah, he's done. But I mean, done. Fake heart attack. They get you with the stroke and heart attack when they want to get you out of here fast. Yeah.
So fake heart attack play. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But Call of Duty is the biggest selling video game in history, right?
Yeah.
You would need backing for that somehow, hypothetically. And but Fortnite is a pipeline.
It's even like these that Tom Hanks movie when he was Captain Ryan when he I think the Somali pirates and and they making all it's like the whole thing was like the ship got taken over by Somali pirates because that was a big thing years ago was like the pirates in Somalia and they was hijacking the ships and all that. And it's like when you really start to look at this thing critically, these kids is like 16 years old on like paddle boats. Like they're not like pirates like how we thinking about it, like Pirates of the Caribbean, and they're like super armed. Like they literally you destroyed their way of actually feeding their family and creating commerce for themselves, which is fishing. It's a fishing. It's off the coast. It's the east coast of Africa, and the ports have been destroyed from a variety of different foreign countries. And why is America even there to begin with, right? And so it's like, okay, well, now you just got a bunch of adolescents, youth that's just running around wild in the ocean, and they just hopping on ships. They don't even really realize what they. But I said to say it was super over glamorized, right? Mm-hmm. And you look at the person that they actually arrested, and the kid is like 16 years old, and he's like, and they made him be out like he's like Pablo Escobar. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, this is meant to portray an image that, these people are extremely dangerous, right? We have to go in. We have to take control, natural resources. Mm-hmm. We have to, play world police because, look, all the stuff America has done and somebody taking over a ship is the worst. That's where you draw the line.
But I got to demonize you publicly. I mean, we've seen the same thing happen in Chicago. Like if I let an area, quote unquote, get bad, or I let certain things happen and then I can infiltrate and take over Cabrini Green and then turn them into projects. And then now I can turn O Block into like a weaponized tool. I always said it. When gentrification is about to happen, that's where the drill music permeates the most for 2 or 3 years. Let Leor them get their check. Then they come clean it up and take it over. So if I destroy you, if I then demonize you in the media, I won't believe your voice when you then speak out. I don't think Trap Lord Ross just came out of nowhere with the King Von documentary. I think it was some back in the net too. Cool, weaponize that too. And then great, let's take over these areas and make the city safer. Chicago's a beautiful city. Even if you like, I have people that are afraid to go to Chicago because of the perception of O Block. I'm like, that's a small territory. Like some shit happens on Mag Mile once in a while, but cool. Like, but if I demonize the area, yeah. And it lowers the property value, which makes it easier to buy. And now it's like, okay. Then I'm gonna push you out to Peoria. And then we get all the prime land. Cool. But what do I know? Yeah, propaganda is a part of the structure. So we've had some people trying to do it to us. It hasn't worked. Get your tickets to InvestFest.